going down the street in our Chimera, and this fucking imperial citizen holding her baby comes fucking running out. I telepathically connect with her. She instantly drops the baby, as I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Trying to read her thoughts to see if she's.
So you made her drop the baby.
Made her drop the baby, and then the driver of the vehicle was like, "Nope, fuck it, run her over."
No, what's even better? You all had a conversation about it, and it was the quickest conversation ever. And somebody, I don't know who, was like, "So are we just gonna run this person or baby over?" And everybody almost in sync, just one after another, was like, "Yeah." Okay, I'm flooring it.
Dude, Dark Heresy gets fucking awesome, man.
You are now listening to Heresy FM. This ain't your commissar station.
Oh, damn it. Anyways, hey everybody, welcome.
Escalated from tapping with his fingers to now tapping with a lighter. All right. Groot's got the good dad bod going on for the season.
Oh baby.
Yeah.
Oh baby.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh baby.
That's pure hibernation right there.
Oh god.
Oh,
Good news. We got a towel.
all over my episode. All over both of them.
Got a towel. Don't worry.
Towel?
Are you okay? That bro is on an overdose of Red Bull and cigarettes right now. And there goes the phone.
There goes the screen.
Baby, Gorilla Glass.
We're only a minute into this podcast and all hell's breaking loose.
Available at T-Mobile for $50.
Quit tapping on the fucking table.
What the fuck up? I do what the fuck I want.
All right, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Serpent's Lodge podcast. Evidently, we're having some technical difficulties here.
The Imperium's leading provider in mutation removal. If you have a spare appendage you need removing, we'll do our best, and hopefully we cut off the right horn. On to the podcast.
Now that I'm done cleaning fucking Sprite all over the table, my beautiful overview is now going to be sticky. And not in the good way either.
Yeah, no Slanesh involved.
Hey, that comes later. That's at the end, baby. So, oh my goodness, we've covered the Imperium. That was a task.
We even jumped into some fucking weird ass conspiracies for our short little Christmas episode.
The iceberg is so fucking massive.
That was just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, yeah,
that was what the Titanic saw.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the deeper you get, the more shit starts making less sense.
Mm-hmm.
So before we kind of go into this, I thought of a question from the episode that I decided I would wait until the podcast to ask.
Okay.
So we were talking about, the cognite.
Yes.
And Valdor and everything, and Russ knowing about it.
Yes, I still have my notes right here.
Yeah. Yes. So because I'm the Space Wolves fan.
Yes.
As soon as I knew that Russ was kind of involved in this, instantly, Daddy Wolf, Daddy Wolf, awoo.
For Daddy, what?
Ooh. No, that's
we're not. We're wrong crowd. Anyways,
yeah, that's definitely.
So, but anyway, so with Russ knowing about this, and with the supposed possibility of Russ and Valdor are off together, does this mean that there's the possibility? Russ has always been the one that everybody has said would never fall to chaos.
Correct. Yes.
With him, so how would that work with him now? Technically, if there's a possibility that he knows about the cognite, but now there's a chance that he could be a cog in the wheel.
Well, how to put this is that when we go back to Valdor and everything that happened, we also find out, again, if you haven't seen the Christmas episode, please go see that. And if you haven't, well, spoiler alert for books of the Beckwin trilogy.
If you're watching this one and you haven't seen the Christmas episode, you have a tiny wiener.
Yeah, you really do. But that being said, it's also revealed that basically they were part of the cognite, but also leading/manipulating the cognite. So there was a sort of like a joint venture there, but very much Valdor was in control. So that being said, with Russ being a lot more independently minded, let's put it that way. Again, chaos is very much more of like a sliding scale, right? So it's not just you're completely devoted to the Chaos Gods and you're completely loyal to the God Emperor. It's an entire case of, give me the look. Is that a conspiracy look?
No.
Okay.
Concussion out.
Oh, gotcha. Hey, Happy New Year's. But,
Yay. Opa.
But that being said, so potentially he could be open to working with chaos elements or at least controlling chaos elements similar to like a radical inquisitor. So it doesn't necessarily mean he's fallen to chaos or anything else. He's just more okay with using the demonic dildo to shove it up Chaos's ass.
All I can think of is the typical, I'm a space wolf. It's different. I'm not working with chaos. I'm controlling chaos.
Oh,
totally
your
different
fucking
story.
magic is all nature.
It's different.
It comes from Fenris, not the warp. It's different.
It's all the same.
No, from Fenris.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, so
The
moving on.
Imperium's leading hypocrites.
What about the Dark Angels? What?
No. I meant in the magic sense.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Ideologically speaking, yes,
Well,
sure.
that's the biggest part is that they are entirely correct. The Space Wolves,
The Space Wolves.
yes,
are
about
correct.
what they
Okay.
do, they are entirely 100% correct.
I mean, they are.
It
yes.
is 100% different.
Yes,
It is different.
100% different. However, this episode is not about the goddamn Space Wolves.
That is true, yes.
It's about motherfucking chaos.
Oh,
God,
baby.
the day we do a Space Wolves episode, I'm gonna walk in with the biggest hard on, and
Okay.
it's just gonna stay for the full
Okay,
2 hours.
so the more I listen to the Horus Heresy books, right, the more I read them and shit like that, the more and more I'm starting to get annoyed and start to dislike Space Wolves because it's like an arrogant ignorance, and it's like, bro, shut the hell up. Okay,
hold on. Have you gotten to
Prospero Burns.
Prospero Burns yet?
not yet.
Then shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
I just-
shut your fucking whore mouth until you get
I
to
just
Prospero
finished
Burns.
Battle for the Abyss, and I'm
sorry.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like 2 hours into fucking Mechanicum.
Oh, so
and-
bro, you don't
Nice.
even know about fucking Space Wolves yet.
That's
so
fine.
shut your whore mouth.
That's fine. Everything that I've listened to from Space Wolf so far is just like, bro, you guys just shut up. Like, not everything has to be solved your way. Like, just listen
You
to
want to
people
know
who
why
are
Space
smarter
Wolves
than you.
do it their way? Because their way statistically works.
Their way is not too uncommon from how the world eaters do things.
I just want to say, compared to most Primarchs, we are one confirmed Primarch dead,
so
and we are one confirmed Primarch's back broken over the knee.
Do I need to change your icon to like a Space Wolf icon instead of an orc?
listen.
Fucking do it.
Okay, boom.
Listen. The Emperor
Snap
has
done.
the same stats, and what's the point?
So, speaking of that, have you got into, this is a good segue into the topic, have you got into First Heretic?
Not yet.
Oh, that is one of probably the top 5 books.
Like I said, I just finished Battle for the Abyss, and I'm like,
I'm not gonna lie.
Good way into
whenever you read the
Mechanicum.
first Heretic, it'll probably change your entire view
Yes.
of
and
Lorgar.
that's possible because as of right now, like I said, I just learned that Lorgar didn't fucking just go to chaos on his own. He was actually coerced into it by fucking Corferin and Erebus. Fuck Erebus all
Fuck
day.
Erebus.
That and there were
Yes.
a lot of things that happened that caused Lorgar to fall to
No,
chaos.
I know about Monarchia. That was like the big thing, but yeah, that right there. Because I always thought like
Monarchia,
Lorgar
why
fell to
can't-
chaos
Why
because
can't
of,
you be more like your brothers?
well, I always thought that Lorgar fell to chaos because of Monarchia. I didn't know that Erebus and fucking Corferin had already fallen to chaos, and they were whispering in his ear like the little gay that they are.
Yeah,
Edit that out.
it's all good. So, I think the title of the episode is going to be, I think the title for this episode is going to be Intro to Chaos, and then
Fuck Erebus.
like parentheses, Calth was an act of self-defense. But going back into chaos, it changes how you entirely view chaos. Because I guess you say a lot of times in 40K books and modern 40K setting, a lot of authors portray them as like Saturday morning cartoon villains in a way. Oh, we're comically evil. We worship dark gods. We're here to rape your women and kill your children and steal your man. Yeah, and Demon Kilaba type shit. You actually go and find out a lot more about like why they're an actual threat and the logic behind it. And you know, it goes from you're crazy to, you know what, I may not agree, but I understand where you're coming from.
Right.
But let's go on over and actually give a quick like rundown of what chaos is.
Just
right?
really quickly, I want to say that whenever we do the Demunculaba episode, it's going to be called Demunculaba, parentheses, please don't ban us.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I agree with that.
We might have to start a Patreon just for that fucking episode
Yep.
because, yeah.
Yeah. So, chaos, for those who don't know, I think we've been over this briefly, is long story short, you have the material world and then you have the immaterial world, also known as the materium and immaterium, respectively. Anything that happens in the material world gets reflected in the warp, or the immaterial world. So, any emotions, anything else, the stronger the emotion, the stronger the reflection.
If you're a Stranger Things fan, it's the upside down.
Yeah, pretty much. So, that being said, and those emotions can coalesce and to form entities, usually smaller demons, and very big emotions like anger, bloodshed, deceits and change, and pestilence, and
Pride.
pride and
hatred.
debauchery.
Yep.
Can all coalesce into gods.
Yeah.
And we're going to go and get into the first one. And this is the god of bloodshed, murder, kill, maim, burn, I believe, as the co-host once said.
Yes, I believe it is usually followed by I keep wanting to say corn for the corn god, but that's my thing. No, yes, we have our one and only the bestest actual trader boys, the world eaters.
You want to do the
Blood
honor
for
of
the blood god.
reading off the
Well,
titles?
we're not just going
Skulls for
off
the
the
skulls, right.
we're not just going off of the blood. The world eaters.
You're right. We're not just
talking
going off the world eaters. However,
corn as a whole.
if you're talking about chaos faction in 40K, there go your poster boys right there for corn.
We'll save the deets and the
So-
legions, but
Yeah. So for Korn, he is the blood god. He is the Lord of Skulls. He's the Lord of Blood, the Lord of Rage, the Lord of Battle, the Hunter of Souls. Those are all a bunch of his names.
There's
He
a
is
bunch
also
more.
known by- Oh
Also-
yeah, there's definitely a bunch more.
Also found out that I didn't know this before because I thought it was actually our third person on the list, but found out that he's actually older. He's the oldest chaos god.
Korn?
Yep. Out of the four main ones, not including like Malice or any of the other crazy, the God Emperor who's been around for fucking ever. And
Well, the God Emperor wasn't always the Emperor, but he has been around for millennia,
Yeah, for
basically.
quite a long time.
Yeah.
he's just Jesus.
Yeah. So yes, Korn. Korn is born of hate and rage. All right.
fun fact,
he's-
John Grammaticus was around before the emperor.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah,
he was.
he was,
Yeah.
yeah. By approximately like 2,000, potentially more years.
Yeah.
The more
was
you
it?
know.
I know, right?
Yeah. I think they alluded to it in the book Legion.
Yep.
I must have not caught that part.
Yeah,
There's a
he
lot of
was-
small details.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the Cabal has been around since before that. He was born in like the medieval ages, like in the fucking.
Oh no! I mean, he was born in I want to say it was like Samaria type time frame. It was like it was like around. I could be wrong on this, but I want to say it was like around 2000 BC. So
You sure it was 2000?
I want to say so. It might have been more than that, but yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, man, I don't know that. But anyways, yes, Korn.
So all the names and everything, this guy is the god of war,
Yeah.
hatred, wrath, rage, murder, blood, strength, and also never knew this, but courage and also martial honor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He is all about honor on the freaking battlefield. Like just a glorious death. That's why he's not all about just random slaughtering in his name. He prefers more of, like a fucking hand-to-hand combat, like
And
honorable duel type
Yeah,
thing.
and I really thought that one was funny because like you said, the poster boys are quite literally the exact opposite. They are killing. There is no honor. They are killing whatever the fuck is in front of them.
Which is funny because they do hold themselves with honor, at least before the heresy.
right? It was more,
yeah.
it was a gladiatorial type of honor.
Exactly. And now it's still kind of like that, but
Some
The
of them
butcher's
still
nail.
retain it.
yeah,
to some
of them
small
s-
degrees.
Yeah, some of them still retain it.
The biggest effect in that was the butcher's nails, but in all honesty, them taking the butcher's nails was
That's on Angron.
Well, it was also one of those. It was a martially honorable thing to do. The best, the most honorable thing I can do as a warrior for Angron is implant the same thing that he's implanted with.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at is sure they accepted it willingly, but even if they didn't want to, they still had to because Angron pushed it on the whole fucking Legion. And his reasoning for that was he said there's no greater clarity of mind or purity of mind than when you're in the middle of battle and you have that like murderous rage.
Angron was sad and wanted to drag people into the pits of despair with him. End of story.
Yeah,
I gotta be honest.
in a short sense, yeah.
But real quick, if you don't mind, I want to touch briefly on the topic of you said he was also the god of courage and martial honor, because that's entirely correct. But we're going into the discussion because I've heard this a lot, and this is a lore tidbit I want to clear up. Is obviously he's also the god of courage and honor and martial, whatever the fuck. With that being said, people are like, wow, the world eaters, they're berserkers, and also why are his fanatics always like this and like that, and why they're always like bloody, crazy people? Mm-hmm. Because you can worship Khorne through any of these methods, right? Honorable combat, or perhaps through absolute berserk fury. That being said, people take the easiest route. So that being said, what do you think the easier route is? Being a noble and martially excellent general, or picking up a knife and just stabbing homeless people downtown?
Hey,
what's easier?
It seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Khorne cares not from where the blood comes from.
Exactly, yeah. So while they're both acceptable ways of doing it, and every once in a while you can find more civilized Khorne worshippers like the Blood Pact and the Tanith First and Only, Dan Abnett series, more than likely it's bloodthirsty savages because that's the easiest route to go to. Khorne is all about blood and everything else. And if you're like, courage and martial honor, that's great. And he respects that because he doesn't want you fighting dirty. He just wants straight up duels to the death, mano a mano. Yeah. But that being said, it's rare. And it's not the staple.
Believe it or not, he also got that. He also got, mano a mano, not necessarily, high honor martial combat like two, squared up duelist fighting. But he actually got some of that from a very unlikely source, the orcs, with Tuska Demon Killer.
He did, yeah. Really? I was going to say the famous orc who found Orc Valhalla.
Yeah, yes. gave an orc Valhalla. For people who don't know, Tuska Demon Killer was, as his name states, a famous orc demon killer. He was known for going through the warp with absolutely no his Geller fields completely down, so that demons would actually invade his ship, so that he could just kill demons because orcs live the best lives in 40K.
Wait, so you mean to tell me that orcs actually use the warp and they didn't just fly around on the rock until they hit something?
I mean, they still fly around on the rock till they hit something, but they absolutely use the warp. So he got so much into wanting to fight demons that he came up with the craziest thing ever. So in front of the Eye of Terror, there is an Imperial blockade, and their whole goal was to keep things from coming out. And all of a sudden, a giant orc rock comes fucking hurtling past them, going straight into the Eye of Terror.
Leroy Jenkins!
Leroy Jenkins.
So he goes flying through, and eventually he ends up on a planet, and comes to realize that the planet is honestly a living demon, the entire planet, which is spawning up demons of Khorne in eternal combat. Well, I think it was a bloodthirster or something. One of their big demons comes up and starts fighting Tuska Demon Killer in eternal combat, and Khorne was so pleased with what happened that he now allows the orcs to fight eternally on that planet. It's essentially Orc Valhalla. Yeah, they fight all day until they die, and then at night they're fight all night, and then back at the next day they're resurrected to do it all over again, which is
interesting.
Orc heaven.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like an orc heaven. You know who didn't please Khorne very much? Oh. Scarbrand.
So all these chaos gods proceed to go and have their little demons, and 40K, all demons are is basically their manifestation of their presence, right? It's basically a bit of themselves scattered about. So Khorne has like bloodthirsters as a general, the big name one, is going to be Scarbrand, as well as Cabanda. And on top of that, of course, you got Bloodletters, a whole bunch of other units, stuff like that. And that's basically what they are, and that's their demonic forces.
So who was Samus?
He was undivided.
Oh,
Yeah, so
just
he
a,
was
just a normal ass demon.
yeah, normal ass, very powerful, but normal ass demon.
Samus
Yes.
is the name.
The man
Yes.
beside you. Samus is behind
Samus
you.
is watching. Samus is giving you a handy.
Samus is watching your internet history and is very disappointed.
If you want to hear the most annoying sounds in the world, read the Horus Heresy and listen
Yeah.
through Samus dialogue.
Oh
Yeah.
God, yeah.
It's the same sentences over and over again.
So it's funny how you were talking about the Imperial blockade in front of the Eye of Terra. We will. I've got something to add to
Excuse
that.
me, sir. It's terror.
Eye of Terra, Eye of Terror. They're right next to
Dude,
each
I
other.
fucked that up for so long.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
joking. I didn't find like an actual salute, like the actual answer, and bother looking it up till like 4
Also,
years
didn't
ago.
know that you can attribute the name Eye of Terror to Perturabo.
Yes, you can.
Interesting.
Perturabo was the one that came up with the name.
He probably complained about it, didn't he?
He can.
So for context, just really briefly, one of Perturabo's things ever since he was born, he could always see the Eye of Terror no matter where it was and where he was. He could look up in the sky, he could see it, and he eventually went into it. I won't spoil the reason why or anything else. And he's like, what is this place? And he looks on the little cartographic map. He's like, and it's like a whole series of numbers, some nerd type shit. He's like, that's lame. Eye of Terror. There we go. And yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. He was like, "This is stupid."
But also, how much bad juju does something have to have for a Primarch to call something
The Eye of Terror?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and it also doesn't help too because you know you're listening on Audible. You have British guys narrating, so
Hope they find
Terra
it
and
too,
Terror sound almost exactly the same.
Terror, Mike.
Yeah.
That's more
Props
awesome.
to my,
of Terra.
props to my homie Toby Longworth.
Toby
Yo,
Longworth
we
all
repping
day.
Toby.
Yes.
Hashtag Toby Longworth in the episode.
All right. Well, that was Korn in a somewhat nutshell. Who's next on this list?
Next would be
Caw.
Give me your peanuts. So.
That sounds kind of zingy.
Oh my goodness. Well, you won't guess who's up next?
I know it's gonna
I
get
don't know.
bleep, but ha.
I need to start marking down when we do this so I know where to go.
Yeah. That's definitely getting censored.
So
We're embracing culture.
second up on the
right.
list. So I guess with war brings change. So next up on the list is what a lot of people consider, from what I've researched, the second oldest chaos god, Tzeentch.
Yes, the god of Yahtzee, basically.
Bird is
He
the word.
is the also the god of goddamn names.
Yeah.
So he is the changer of ways, the lord of change, the lord of sorcery, the architect of fate, the great conspirator, the great deceiver, the lord of entropy, the master of mutation, the weaver of destinies, the father of lies and deception. Those were two separate titles: father of lies and father of deception.
I feel like his entire name profile is just deception and lies.
He's the great eagle, and he is also the raven god. And there's probably more that I
Yes.
just didn't put down because they were stupid names and I didn't feel like writing anymore.
So, tidbit, Tzeentch is born of ambition, hope, and the desire for change. That's how he
Yes.
became a god. That's how he was formed into the god. I'd say he was the second one.
Which-
First guy is everyone's pissed the fuck off. Oh shit, it's Korn. Second guy is, man, I really want shit to change, and man, we need some hope so we can get out of this fucking, shitty era that we're in. Oh fuck, there's Tzeentch.
Which, if you think about it, is there's a verse in the Havamal, which is like the Viking Bible. That's something in there that says, as long as two men exist and there is land, there will always be combat.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which, essentially, I would understand. Okay, Korn being the oldest,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I would almost feel like Tzeentch would be first because, you know, I feel like there would... Obviously, there has to be ambition for there to be war.
Mm.
You have to want something in order to fight for it.
There is
fair.
always change, and you can view this in society and governments. I mean, even in modern day, everything changes. You know, you can fall into a pattern, but then eventually something changes. You know, start picking up 2 lattes in the morning instead of 1. Oh, maybe this government gets overthrown. Maybe this person changes a job. Even from small to big to small, it's always change.
So he is the god of change, evolution, mutation, intrigue, ambition, knowledge, sorcery, destiny, lies, and trickery.
Oh,
So, I mean, a lot of any kind of human characteristic there. I mean, if you're the second you're intrigued about something, congratulations, you're a Tzeentch worshiper.
yep.
The second you have any kind of ambition or you start seeking for knowledge, congratulations, you're worshiping Tzeentch.
Well, we're also talking about the gods of chaos. So I would assume that just having ambition alone isn't enough. It's, I think, being overly ambitious, because everything with these gods, it's over the top hate and rage, Angron, over the top fucking change and fucking pursuit of knowledge, fucking Magnus and the rest of the Thousand Sons.
But I mean, at the same time, you know, you said earlier from Korn, the smallest drop of blood.
He doesn't.
And
He doesn't care
he
where
doesn't
the
care
blood,
where the blood comes from.
Correct. Now, and that's what I'm saying with being ambitious and doing all that shit. Like, I'm sure a little bit of ambition, it piques his interest and shit. But I think being overly ambitious, kind of like with one of the other gods on the.
But all it takes is that one little seed, and this is also Tzeentch is also the most likely to fuck you over. So the second he sees that seed of ambition, like that's really all he needs. Like,
So does it have to be like an evil ambition, or?
I got the answer. So think of this in terms of food, and I'll explain why. I have a quote here, which is an absolutely fantastic quote. I saved it on my phone, brought this up for this. And this is from in Fabius Bile Book 2 of a Chaos Space Marine talking to Fabius Bile, who's also another Chaos Space Marine. And it says, "On my pilgrimage, I learned much. Win or lose, the gods feast on our deeds. A man pets a stray, and his small pleasure in the kindness of act feeds Slanesh. A woman strikes her crying child, and that awful moment of elation she feels feeds Korn. A Munitorum drone considers we're going to have to bleep that out. Nurgle grows fat on his despair. A merciful strategist devises a plan for a bloodless victory, and Tzeentch is content. The word bearers believe that gods crave worship, but the gods care for nothing save filling their bellies with our sorrows. Intentionally or not, we are all meat for the beast."
Really? Okay. So even just as Korn doesn't care where the blood comes from, Tzeentch doesn't care where the ambition, the hope, the desire for change, and all that shit comes from.
But the big deal for that is, like go around Korn. I'm like, man, fuck you. And I smack you. Okay. In that moment, you're sending just that emotion that goes through that is going to the warp and it's feeding Korn.
Gotcha.
So that being said, it's a minuscule amount. We're talking crumbs of crumbs of crumbs.
Yeah.
But the moment I go around and if I say, and I murder you, stab, stab. And at that point, that action, due to its more severity and higher emotion, is a bigger feast.
Gotcha.
And then also if I am more self, like I carve, if I stab you 8 times, which is the number of Korn, the symbolism makes it a bigger meal. So therefore, bigger axe draws more attention.
Fair enough. So it's like a buffet.
Exactly, yeah.
we're all just and that was quoted from what the second Fabius Bile book. That's Gene Father.
Yes.
The new one?
I get not the new one. It's I want to say it's Clone Lord. I'll look up the answer in 1 second.
Okay.
But yeah, it's the second book in the Fabius Bile. By the way, fantastic trilogy.
Just
Cannot
wanna-
recommend enough.
Just want to make sure we have the right citations. So
Exactly. Yeah, we'll put it in MLA 12.5. Yeah.
We'll put it in our citations in the citations in the fucking bio.
Clone Lord. Yes, it was Clone Lord.
Clone Lord.
Clone
Fabius
Lord.
Bile, Clone Lord.
2018.
Interesting.
Should be by Josh Reynolds. There we go.
Once I'm done with Siege of Terror, I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited to start doing the branch offs into offshoot series.
Yes.
It's gonna be great.
But yeah, so Tzeentch is all about that change. Whether it's small, whether it's big, or anything else, It's the deceit, the planning, the trickery, the avian feathers. Maybe that's what gets him off.
Zeech is all about that change, no stagnation.
So think about how constantly the Mechanicum is just feeding Zinch.
Oh, well, that's the entire thing. They wouldn't. Because there's almost like no development when it comes to the Mechanicus.
No
even though
development
even though their whole thing is the pursuit of knowledge.
Well, it's not the pursuit of knowledge. The Mechanicus is more about recovering knowledge because they believe everything that could have been invented has already been invented. And they're attempting to just recover that technology. And that's why they prohibit explicit invention. They may do like minor adaptations, but it's never going to be anything more than that. Unless you're Fabius, or not Fabius, unless you're Belisarius Skull. Then you don't care.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that actually feeds, the Mechanicus stuff actually feeds into Vashtor. And they're actually partially responsible for his creation.
Okay, I could see that. We'll talk. We'll delve into more about him later. So these guys are represented by. Why do I have to talk about these guys? So
It's ironic. Continue.
Very ironic.
so
Now that we've changed your icon to a space wolf, we guys.
so these guys, whereas Khorne is represented by the World Eaters, Zinch is mostly represented, 100% represented, unfortunately, and slightly unwillingly, by the Thousand Suns.
Oh, yes.
Hashtag Russ did nothing wrong.
Hashtag best Egyptians.
Russ did. Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, well.
No, he didn't.
Okay, he was tricked into doing something.
Hey,
He was.
you'll have that on those big jobs.
Hey, listen, management fucks up, not my issue.
Yeah.
All I'm saying.
Listen. Well, that's the thing. Management didn't really fuck up. Management changed the plan.
You're paid to install a deck. You installed the deck at the wrong house. Doesn't make it not a good deck.
Hashtag
sure,
Prospero
the
wasn't
deck-
a war; it was a police action.
Magnus cast escalate traffic
Sure,
stop.
it's a good deck, but the plan was for you to build it at my house, not my neighbor's house. Now I got to look at that.
Well, we'll tear it down.
So
Actually, we'll give you a sledgehammer.
So for those of you that are very new, the reason why this is ironic. So quick little story. Magnus did everything wrong. That's all you really need to know.
Magnus did do everything wrong.
So as he continued to do everything wrong, the Emperor sent the Space Wolves, and what they were supposed to do was they were supposed to go and capture the Thousand Suns and specifically capture Magnus.
Yes. And bring him back to Terra for
Magnus
another.
completely fucking went into a depressive cycle and lowered the defenses. And on the way there, Horus had sent a message to Leman Russ, who didn't know that Horus had fallen and betrayed everybody yet. And he was informed that the plan had changed and he was no longer to capture Magnus. He was to completely obliterate the planet, kill the Thousand Suns.
Kill Magnus.
He was sent to do what he was made to do, and that was to be the Emperor's execution.
I can only imagine the smile on Russ's face when you got that letter.
Believe it or not,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely not.
Really?
Yes,
Really?
if you listen in, I think it was Prospero Burns. It might have been one of the later ones where
you reflect.
Russ is kind of reflecting in one of the off things.
Well, the boys is kind of fucked up right now. I'm not gonna lie to you.
He took no joy in the 11th Primarch. He took no joy. And he takes absolutely no joy in killing a legion or killing one of his brothers.
Yeah.
But it's one of those.
Well,
I
Dad
don't
said
like
I have to.
I don't want to do this job, but this is my job and this is what I'm made for.
Yeah.
And he wears that weight on his shoulders.
Yeah, that's the one thing I can actually say I respect about Russ is that even if
You
he
just said
doesn't,
we were fucking arrogant, so no. You
Yeah,
can't-
you guys
no,
are.
You can't take that back
Oh,
now.
what?
You-
So
you
I
just-
can't.
you
So I
have
can't
your-
give credit where credit is due,
No, you have
even
your
if it's to
opinion.
your
You-
fucking arrogant ass Primarch.
Once you read Prospero Burns, then you can say that you're fucking.
No,
The
fuck that.
title of this episode has changed from Exploring Chaos to Exploring Chaos, parentheses, and Russ.
No, that is the one thing I can give Russ respect is he knows what he is and he's okay with being how he is. He knows that he's the emperor's fucking dog. He knows he's the emperor's fucking executioner, and whether or not he likes the job, that's his job, and he will do it.
Yeah,
I got to respect the shit out of that.
But so
He's not Lorgar.
yeah.
so he went in and he took no well, I mean, he took some pride in it because it's Space Wolves.
Again,
so,
he was building the deck. He was
Yeah.
happy with it. Yeah.
They absolutely, it's literally called the Burning of Prospero. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Is Prospero okay?
No.
Oh.
So later on in the series, it is actually visited by Jagatai Khan and the White Scars.
Yeah.
The White Scars go because they're trying to figure out what actually happened, and when they go, not a single thing except for ghosts of living things are alive because there was so much warp presence in Prospero.
I do not like the fact that they burned down the libraries with all the knowledge and shit that was there. That
Once again, I'm just doing my job.
I know, I completely understand. Like I get why Russ did it and why he had to do it. I don't.
So
fault him for
exploring a
that,
little
but-
bit into the Thousand Suns here, getting us back on track.
yeah, get
So
back on
going
track.
around-
Sorry about
So
that.
no, it's all good. It's a fascinating topic.
It is.
So they were Thousand Suns again. They're like the mortal servants for Siege. So, very similar to how World Eaters are for Khorne, and all that fun stuff. That being said, of course, Siege has demons. He has Lords of Change. He has the He has pink horrors. He has blue horrors. He has brimstone horrors. He probably has more horrors.
Oh yeah.
They have a lot of teeth. But the Thousand Suns were all psychers, which made them very attractive to Magnus. And Tzeentch was working on them before any other god was working on any other Primarch. I mean, he wanted this motherfucker, and he got him. Hook,
What?
nail, sinker.
And it's funny too because them two, Magnus and Tzeentch, have a love-hate relationship with each other. They love fucking with each other, and I don't know if Tzeentch really wants to like fully
I mean,
control Magnus, but he definitely likes toying with him.
I mean, he fixed literally his entire legion from their flesh change by turning them all into dust.
I mean-
that wasn't it. That was Armin.
that was that was Armin. He was trying to cure it, and yeah.
It was still him doing Tzeentchy dumb shit.
I
Fair-
mean,
fair play.
yeah, fair. That's fair play.
Either way, Tzeentch had a. So that is his other. We didn't exactly go into champions of
the different gods.
but yeah. So Ahriman is actually also technically a champion. I kind of put a kinda question mark under my research here because they're actually the only ones that really don't like the situation that they're in.
So
Yeah.
Tzeentch is a fascinating god because, like, with all the other gods, it's all or nothing, right? Khorne, you're usually an absolute, blood-bathed berserker. Nurgle, I mean, you got no other choice. Slaanesh, you're a hedonite. That's how it goes. With Tzeentch gives you
Educate on fucking Slaanesh.
with Tzeentch, you actually have a lot more free will in all capacities. Like, you're not going over there and you're succumbing to temptation or disease or anger.
Free
You're
will is a
chilling.
very loose term.
Yeah, you have full free will, but also he wants you to have free will because at that point you can make change. You can't make change without free will, right? But also you have free will, but so does everybody else who might want to backstab you. So, have fun with that part.
Yeah, and it's funny because with Thousand Suns, they only went to Tzeentch and Chaos because they had, well, at least Magnus, they had no other fucking choice. Like, Angron went down the Eightfold Path and eventually ended up with Khorne, damn near willingly. Fucking same thing with Death Guard, same thing with freaking Emperor's Children, this and that. Going with Tzeentch was an actual fucking choice that fucking Magnus made. It wasn't like, oh shit, I accidentally fell in with Tzeentch. No, it was like, what was it? Prospero Burns, basically, where he's like, you know what, fuck this. I'm not gonna let my legion and myself die or anything. All right, Tzeentch.
Well, that was actually
fucking-
Thousand Suns, but yeah.
Yeah. They're like, fuck it, Tzeentch, take me in.
So here's the funny thing, though, is we talk also about Tzeentch being like the Lord of Deceit and the Lord of Lies, right? the entire thing is a lot of the other gods were very simple, or in this some cases very blunt with how they got their Primarch or how the Primarch they wanted. With Tzeentch, he set Magnus up from day one, right? So in the beginning, he basically cured him because the Legion was having rampant mutation and it was fucking up. They literally went down to 1,000 remaining legionaries. Okay, it was like the second smallest legion of all time, beat only by Emperor's Children. At that point, he made a deal with Tzeentch, and that's why he only has one eye, in order to save his sons. But he would owe something to Tzeentch whenever the time came. And then, but that being said, Tzeentch sort of did like the little like, oh, I'm not threatening, I'm just an innocent little warp demon, you know, oh, you're so mighty, you cast the spells to bind me and you're talking to me, and basically tricked him into that. And suddenly, whenever Magnus wants to do something that aids Tzeentch, like break through the webway and fuck up the Emperor's plan, Tzeentch is literally like, oh, a little me can help, everything else. And then Magnus like, yeah, sure, we'll see if he can help. And next thing you know, Magnus like, what the fuck is all this energy? Holy shit. And he just blasts through there, fucks up. And that's whenever Tzeentch was like, yeah, you make a mistake. And guess what? You know he can come to me for help. And guess who's going to be here when you need it? It's me. So he got him hooked. He established himself early on in Magnus' life.
I mean, no one's
Had
gonna.
Tzeentch instantly hooked on heroin.
Exactly.
From
Yeah.
childhood.
That is, yeah.
No one's ever gonna deny that Magnus did everything wrong, except for one guy, Alvin.
They're coping. I'm sorry, Alvin.
Yeah.
The only people who say that Magnus did nothing wrong are Magnus fanboys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And
big
they're
horn
wrong.
titties and everything.
Suck on the Madonna teats.
Yeah, pretty much.
But so
knowledge.
that's pretty much it for Tzeentch. We've got one more god.
We've got two more gods.
Well, we do have two, but in the order of how they were freaking, like the three oldest, we have Nurgle.
Then we have the younger sibling.
Yeah, and then we have the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is going to
Really
like
goddamn horny baby.
from Tzeentch, this is the complete opposite.
Yes.
In fact, these two absolutely fucking hate each other.
So in the pantheon of the Chaos Gods with all four, there's always a specific duo that hate each other. So with Tzeentch and Nurgle, they are complete opposites. They despise each other above all else. And then, of course, Khorne and our last Chaos God are the ones who hate each other the fucking most. Like, completely. So, yeah, this is actually the exact opposite.
Ooh, going to the... we could make this a new conspiracy. So with them trying to possibly ascending Vashtor to, like, the god of machinery, what if then they ascend the Emperor as, like...
Duo?
Then you would have a second duo of man versus machine.
No, but
I'll let you know how this happens, because we've actually seen this happen before in a little side tangent into Age of Sigmar. So after the old world blew up, the great horned rat of the Skaven was actually promoted to the 5th Chaos God, like full-blown Chaos God. Granted, the weakest.
that would be the 6th though, then, wouldn't it?
Because
You're forgetting the 5th minor guy.
he doesn't exist.
He does exist.
He doesn't exist.
So everything in the Warhammer universe is canon, but not all of it is true. However, I do believe that this one has some base in truth. But we'll get to that.
It actually does. It actually does.
Yeah.
I mean, canonically, the Warhammer universe exists in basically a wizard's snow globe.
I mean,
the semantics of that.
we're not going to talk about Trajan. This is not that episode.
No, this isn't Trajan. This is like White Dwarf shit.
So allow me to. We're at the halfway mark. This is a good time. So
good little tangent break.
Yeah. So literally, the one thing in all of Games Workshop's main games, aside from like Lord of the Rings, the Age of Sigmar, Warhammer Fantasy, 40K, 30K, Blood Bowl, they're all connected by the warp. That being said, so if you go to Games Workshop, you pick up some demons, you can play them in every single game if you bring up demons, okay? But that being said, so there's some back and forth, and for the most part, the gods mostly act the same in different universes.
I'm not gonna lie, that almost makes me want to pick up demons. Then I can just fucking play everything.
That is the economic option, yes.
Yeah. No.
But
Custodian's here.
So there we go. There we go. If you want to be new and you want to go with the economic option and you want to play all of the fucking games, go Chaos Demons.
I hope you like the models. They're not going to get updated. Anyways.
But still, I mean, if you want...
If you want to buy models and then never have to buy models again, go Chaos Demons.
Go Chaos Demons.
If you want to play Age of Sigmar, 30K. Oh, no,
Well,
30K.
no, can't play 30K.
No, I'm pretty sure you can. Yeah.
With demons?
Because you can play demons in 30K and you just use your regular ass demons. Yeah.
I don't think you can
Oh,
play
you
as
can.
just straight. Can't.
You can, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to play
there
Age of
you go. You can
Sigmar,
play Age of Sigmar.
Horus Heresy.
Yeah, what do you think the entire demonic keyword is? And
I thought
well,
that-
yeah, but I
I
thought
don't
that
know.
was just for like the Traitor
no,
Legions
no.
and shit. Oh, well,
Yeah.
or like the transfigured fucking Fulgrim or Horus Ascended, that kind of shit.
Nope.
Really?
Yeah, so you can just play demons.
Huh? Weird.
Okay, well there you go. Yeah,
The
if you
more
want to
you
play
know.
everything that Games Workshop has to offer in the Warhammer universe, fucking pick up demons.
But
Except maybe Blood Bowl.
yeah, except Blood Bowl. You need a specific team for that. So that's the one exception. But also, you don't play Blood Bowl.
I mean, who plays Blood Bowl?
Whoa! Wait a second. I have told you guys multiple times that I really want us to try Blood Bowl at least once.
Anyways, before that,
Yeah,
let me
we
wrap-
should try BattleTech before that.
Oh my!
No,
Shut the
fuck
fuck up!
you,
Fuck
shut
up.
your-
Really hope they didn't blow out the mic.
I
That's
swear
how I
to-
feel about
Yes,
Blood
yes.
Bowl. I don't really care. I played the video games. They're meh.
Long story short, the Great Horned Rat basically just got collectively casually shit on by all the other four Chaos Gods, and he's not even in the fucking like pantheon anymore.
Yeah.
There's no room for anybody else.
Yeah, evidently so.
Yeah. So I mean,
However-
it's probably not gonna happen.
Let's go to the 40K version of My Chemical Romance. The god of My Chemical Romance, I guess.
Nurgle?
Yeah.
I would figure he's like more of like the god of homeless people.
Well, homeless people, but he was born of despair and the fear of death.
Oh yes,
You
okay,
know,
I
that's
see it now.
that's
I see
how
it.
he came into being.
I see it.
Oh,
But
that's
he is
over
very
on-
stinky.
I'm imagining like Nurgle with a little haircut.
Oh yeah, he's definitely got the bob. He's definitely got the bob with like the front.
Hey, so fun fact: this is the only god with a wife.
With a what?
With a wife.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So whenever you know the butt fucker that happened with the Eldar, right? And we'll cover
Yeah.
that in our next episode, which we'll
Use
go
your
later.
fucking mat.
God damn it. I keep on hitting the table. But,
Step Bro gets the autism and needs a sensory mat.
with that being said,
I am a podcaster.
with that being said, I'm just Italian. Come on.
Oh yeah, sure. Blame your
Yeah,
Italian
yeah.
heritage.
Italian autism is kind of the same thing. Anyways,
I just want to say that there's a big difference between this and this.
it's just the elevation of it. Anyways, go back to this. So whenever the Eldar fell, and basically the majority of their gods died, one escaped. That was Segura. Okay, Cain was split into a million different shards, and that became the avatars of Cain, right? Okay, and also Isha is still alive, who's the goddess of life, health, I think also fertility, and all the other like nice general
Oh,
feel
is
good
this
type
one
stuff.
of those cringy fucking death always death loves life kind of?
Actually, no.
Okay.
No, he's not. He's jokingly referred to as like she's jokingly referred to as the wife of Nurgle, but honestly, it's
Warhammer in with the save from the cringe.
exactly yeah. No, it's more like a captive. So he literally has in the deepest parts of Nurgle's garden, in his realm in the warp, going through this giant, basically demonic hedge maze. You can find Nurgle in the middle, and he's got a giant cauldron that apparently is insanely sized. Okay, it's a god-sized cauldron, and he's constantly in there just brewing new plagues. And whenever he's done brewing these new plagues, he literally looks at the material universe and he like dips his fingers in and he splatters it in the universe and goes from there. And that is unironically how a lot of plagues are spread in 40K. It's because Nurgle's
So like
creations.
an Italian testing the pasta by throwing it at the wall.
Exactly, yes.
All I can,
Test the plague.
all I can see is goddamn Nurgle is the fucking Swedish chef from the Muppets.
Yeah. But here's what he does: is he sometimes, in order in order to go on ahead.
Killed Al Capone.
But unfortunately for Nurgle, the material universe and usually any plague he makes usually has an actual, a material substance to it. It can be cured, everything else, unless there's a lot of warp fuckery to it. So therefore, he has to make sure it's pretty good and potent. So in the little cage to the next of his cauldron, he's got Isha just sitting there, past like however many tens of thousands of years.
Oh, I did
And he-
hear about
yeah,
this.
and he grabs a little wooden spoon, sips it to her, says, and then at that point, she heals herself, but she gets deathly ill, everything else. And then he's like, tuberculosis, hemorrhoids, your head is purple, yeah, this is pretty good. Fling into the material universe.
Could use a little bit more COVID.
Yeah, but that being said, Isha will apparently sometimes whisper to mortals through God shenanigans, whisper through mortals or appear in their dreams and actually divinely tell them how to combat these plagues. Now, granted, it doesn't happen often, but it's a recorded instance. So there you go. So that's Nurgle's little factory. And fun fact, if you want to know how Kugath came about, not Kugath, yeah, Kugath came about as one of his greater named demons, the Great Unclean Ones. He was a Nurgling that fell into the pot and then drank it all.
Oh, shit.
That's why he looks like a giant Nurgling.
Well, I mean, they all look like giant Nurglings because they essentially are, yeah.
But shit, still, that's awesome. Yeah, one of my favorite little tidbits of information of Nurgle fucking with someone hard is when Nurgle fucked with Gilliman, big time, and made him. So for those of you who are new or don't know, there was a fucking plague that was spreading between all the Ultramarines on, I forget what fucking planet it was or whatever, but essentially they were going blind and fuck it was just really screwing them up badly and stuff. However,
Plague Wars?
Anytime
I think so.
Well,
you're saying Gilliman and Nurgle, so that's almost guaranteed to be Plague Wars.
Yeah. So these guys were fucked. They were blind. They couldn't see. They had boils, pus, shit like that. Right? Just really fucked up things. And Gilliman was noticing, he's like, damn, what the hell's going on with my guy? So he goes to go out and check on his guys. And every time he went, when he got around the guys, everyone started getting better. Just they were being cured of the things, right? And he's like, oh shit, Gillen, or Girly Man, being the pompous ass that he is, he's like, I'm the cure to this whole thing. I'm gonna go and fucking to all my units around, all my fucking my entire legion, and cure these people. So he would leave
every time something good happens around Gilliman, he thinks he's the cause of it.
Yeah, exactly. So he leaves and he goes visits other units. But it's funny because at the moment he leaves, the plague comes back and starts affecting these people again. It only's cured when he's around and shit. Come to find out, that's just Nurgle fucking with him to distract him from the shit that is actually going on that he could actually be a huge help with. So anytime fucking Gilliman would leave, the plague would come back up and it'd blind all his fucking people again and shit. And it fucking distracted him for how long? It was a fucking considerable amount of time.
I don't remember the specific amount, but it was a considerable amount of time because what that was is it actually, to my knowledge, was not the Plague Wars, but it was actually what was it called? The actual series where Gilman came back. It was The Gathering Storm. That's what it was. So the Gathering Storm, if I remember correctly, and I'll post correction on screen if I'm not, but I'm pretty sure I am, is when he immediately woke up. Okay, he woke up from stasis. Chaos invasions had already landed on Ultramar. I think specifically like McCrag, everything else. It was a huge mess. And that's whenever that happened. So there's like Black Legion everywhere. There was Death Guard everywhere. And it wasn't the Plague Wars yet. It wasn't, all Death Guard. But that's when that happened. Because they were trying to keep him there, helping his Legion, and also from taking tactical overview, like you said. Yeah. Or also stopping him from going all the way back to Holy Terra. Yeah. To see the Emperor.
Yeah. So to keep him from doing his job, Nurgle played on his fucking vanity and made him think that he was the fucking cure-all for some deadly ass fucking plague. When really it was just Nurgle fucking with him.
You ever seen like the guy fishing who's like got the lines? Oh, you almost had it. Oh, you almost had it.
Yeah,
that was you.
Yeah, it was essentially the carrot in front of the carrot hanging off a string on a stick in front of the fucking guy on a treadmill.
So you're the one with the most Death Guard. Do you want to read off on what he is?
Yes, we have Nurgle.
I'm not the Death Guard player yet.
Plague Lord.
Depth Guard.
Yeah, Depth Guard. We're getting there. So Plague Lord, Plague God, Plague Father, Lord of Decay, Lord of Pestilence, the Fly Lord, Great Corrupter, Grandfather Nurgle, Master of Plague and Pestilence. Disease, decay, despair, destruction, death, and rebirth.
Are all of his domains, I guess you'd call, whatever, how you worship him is despair and death and decay and rebirth and all that. But going to his nickname, Grandfather Nurgle, he's, what I always found was interesting about him was, out of all of them, he's portrayed as like the most benevolent of all of the gods.
I mean, he does
Yes
have a
and no.
garden, so
He has a garden, but you talk if you have worshippers of corn, you have worshippers of Zinch, you have worshippers of Slanesh. Any worshipper of Nurgle always describes their worship and their cult as a family.
interesting.
That's why there's like a quote between Gilliman and Mortarion,
Yeah.
who is ironically also Nurgle's champion. But there's a conversation where he constantly refers to trying to get Gilliman to join him and join his family, and that his grandfather has so many wonderful surprises in the garden for him. So he's always, for the most part, he has all the names and everything, but he's referred to constantly as grandfather.
Yes. So the entire fun part about this is that anybody who's a Nurgle worshiper will always refer to Nurgle as a loving and caring grandfather, because that's the entire like mental image you picture whenever they view of Nurgle. Because in order to follow Nurgle is by far, in my opinion, one of the most fucked up gods. And I know there's a whole bunch of people out there saying like, oh, Nurgle would be the best god to follow because he cares for you, everything else. No, the fuck he doesn't. Here's another deal. Groot, you're a healthy individual, correct? What if I told you would I'm going to give you stage 90 AIDS? There you go. Have fun.
Well, that doesn't sound fun.
No. In fact, I'm going to toss in like all these other different horrible disfigurements and everything else, and the Black Death all on top of this stuff, and you are in the most pain in your life.
My question is, do I still live?
Yes, through all of it.
Yes, specifically because I'm trying to corrupt him. All that stuff. So that being said, it gets to the point where you got like the pot belly, you do like the internal gas, your feet are becoming clubbed and like diabetes rotting off type deal, and you are in excruciating amounts of pain. Okay, this is by far the worst experience you had in your life. What is the only potential way that this could be a good thing? Is if you entirely fuck up your mind and roll with it. Okay, so for example, whenever looking at like Mortarion as an example, when Mortarion turned into a demon Primarch of Nurgle, he was trapped aboard a spaceship and basically forced to convert. And Nurgle's the only Chaos God that can get as close as they can to forcing you to join his side. And due to basically, he can make however many diseases, find a way to forcefully infect you, and you won't die, but you'll be in the most pain of your life until you accept him. But when you accept him, you also have zero choice but to basically go on ahead and accept the pain as good. And at this point, it's like a Slanesh thing, to where like you start getting ecstatic about the pain and it's a gift, except instead of getting off to it, you're accepting it as a gift. So you could think of basically you're turning yourself into an absolute mental asylum, Looney Tunes, wacky type character.
When I was a young boy, my father
me
into the city.
Gave me stage 98 along with syphilis.
So if you are infected or a cultist Nurgle, you can still feel all the pain. And it's probably way worse than it was before. But you basically have to mentally condition yourself with potentially some aid from, divine intervention from Nurgle to tolerate it. And if you decide, and if there's ever that pinprick of the moment of realization, you look in the mirror like, oh God, I'm like, look like 400 pounds, I'm bloated, I got flies, there's literally larvae in my skin, and you lose that sort of like mental grasp, all that pain starts coming in until you reevaluate what your mindset is.
Back in.
And of course, when you're right in back in the right mindset, Nurgle's more than happy to sort of turn the pain condition off to you, but he's torturing you into accepting him.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
So
That's almost, that's almost as fucked up as Slanesh, but
Yeah. All the Chaos Gods, they cannot force you to accept them or to worship them. That has to be like your choice. Again, that's the big deal with Chaos being called a corruption. Because if it is a corruption, it cannot create anything. Okay? It can only corrupt what already exists. And to do that, you have to give yourself over to the corruption. So, if he makes a plague and says, you're not going to die until you turn to me, guess what? Your options are either killing herself, which may or may not work, by the way, or accepting him. So he's the closest god to.
He's also the god of rebirth. So he
Exactly.
could literally just say, you know what? That bullet didn't exactly, it went through your skull completely, but it didn't destroy enough brain matter. You're still alive.
But then he has that cancer regrow your brain. Mm-hmm. Yep.
We'll fill in that spot with a tumor. Thanks for
Yeah,
that.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, look, a new hole.
So I'm wrong. If you go balls deep and you're
Wait,
like, fuck
Slanesh?
it.
That's why Nurgle and Slanesh hate each other.
Yeah.
Actually, Nurgle and Zinch.
Yeah,
Nurgle and Zeus, you're
It's
right.
actually what is it? Slanesh and Korn hate each other.
Ah, yes, that's why Nurgle and Slanesh like each other, because one can make holes, the other one can fuck them.
One makes holes and one fills them.
Is that a disease that makes like holes in your skin?
In an order that would surprise you. Which actually brings us to our last of the mono factions, Slanesh.
Yes, born of lust and hedonism.
Yes, the younger brother or sister, depending on who you talk to. Yes.
Also the god of what I think besides Korn is the least amount of names. So he is the Dark Prince, the Prince of Pleasure, the Lord of Excess, the Perfect Prince, the Prince of Chaos, the Master of Excess in all things. So for all of you fanboys that like to pose Slanesh as a woman, I just want to pose Prince. Prince.
So
Yes.
it's interesting. Like you said, Slanesh, all that stuff. But also, canonically, Slanesh is a hermaphrodite.
I know.
But that being said, it's interesting because humans will refer to Slanesh as a male, but Eldar, who have a much more, I guess you could say, like, matriarchal society, refer to as female.
Responsibility
Yeah, more,
for
I guess so, yeah.
Slanesh.
Yeah, also them creating Slanesh. Yeah, so the Eldar made this giant, they had a utopia civilization, right?
I just want to say this episode's about chaos gods, not chaos goddesses. So
I know.
they're all dudes.
Hey, listen, I'm a good old human right here. I'm using the male pronouns.
Yeah, blame the Eldar for Slanesh. We'll get there and we'll get into that in another episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he is the god of pleasure, passion, excess, hedonism, decadence, pain, and perfection.
Yeah. If you want a good, I mean, almost perfect example of how Slanesh takes over and goes from 0 to 100 in no time flat, read or listen to the book Fulgrim. That I never.
It took a 180 real quick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
never in my life until I listened to that book did I realize how quickly shit with Slanesh can escalate. Like, it is fucking nuts.
Yes, goes 0 to 60 real quick.
Yeah, real fucking quick.
Has a painter that is, so obsessed with making the perfect paintings that she ends up making paintings with the blood, semen, sweat, tears
Any bodily fluid, shit.
of men
Yes.
that she fucks and then kills in a
Well,
again order that would
yes.
surprise you.
This is after she had used her own bodily fluids. She's like,
Yes.
this isn't enough.
I need to start fucking and killing.
Yeah.
You ever seen? I'm gonna curse you all with this knowledge because I was cursed with this too. God. Anyways, you seen the new trend that's going around TikTok for women?
No.
Use secretions as perfume.
Yes, because
Yes.
that's exactly.
And I can't see shit like that anymore. And I'm like,
No.
man, you be a Slanesh worshiper. What the fuck?
Yeah,
I don't know.
All of a sudden, the club smells like a fucking fish market.
Yeah, pretty fucking much. It's like time and a place, not the time.
Why does it smell like something shit in my nose? Oh, that was you. That's you. That's coming off of your neck. Great.
So with Slanesh, everybody, for the most part, pairs him with, on a sexual level. It's constantly, cue Pornhub noises for Slanesh. But
God, yeah.
I've after reading Fulgrim and after that, you you start developing a little bit better of a sense that it's really not just that. It's excess. Once again, as his name states, master of excess in all things. Any type of greed that you have, any type of the emo kids that like to go fucking across the street for attention. Fucking it's you're worshiping Slanesh. You're getting off on the pain.
Yeah, even those of you who are gamers and are 100% absolute completionists, you have to platinum that fucking game. You have to get 100% achievements on that game. Guess what?
Congratulations.
If you play Rainbow Six, you're a Slanesh cultist.
Yeah. That is all Slaneshi activity.
It's pain. Yubi doesn't fix the game. They just make operators gay. That's all they do.
Slanesh is known for the demon dick ladies.
Yes. So we spoke about how Nurgle was really kind of fucked up, and there's this common misconception that he's just a good old guy. Like it's a great trip. Like again, I've never been in the military, but it very much. It reminds me of like the stories you hear about like military recruiters who lie to some people.
Oh yeah,
you'll get in that brain. You'll do this, all that stuff.
Hey kid, you want a $30,000 Dodge Charger?
Only 21% APR. But Slanesh does the same thing with Nurgle, where Nurgle will try to like coax you in and stuff, and like he'll give you gifts and they'll fuck you up, and you got to change your mind to do this shit. Slanesh also gives you gifts. Except they also fuck you up. The problem is Slanesh is a lot better about making you want it.
Yeah.
So,
very subtle.
Trust
very
me, you
subtle.
want this third titty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There was the best example I've ever heard is like, let's say you start worshiping Slanesh, and this is how this goes. You eat a steak. You go home and you prepare a steak, right? And you start worshiping Slanesh, everything else, and you are embracing the pleasures in life. You're noticing senses you've never noticed before. It's great. And then you have steak, and this is the best steak in the world. You just cooked it yourself. It's great.
It is the juiciest, most tender, best seasoned. As soon as you take a bite, it just melts in your mouth, and you
ejaculate on the spot, immediate.
Yeah.
But you then proceed to have steaks for the next several weeks. Okay, and it's still fantastic. But after several weeks, it's just not doing it for you anymore. That pleasure is being exhausted. So you have to find a new high. So perhaps instead of cooking the steak yourself, you go and spend all your money renting out like a private chef, and he's going to cook it even better than you do, and it's amazing. I'm not trying to insult your steak cooking, by the way, but
and then that keeps going on, and all of a sudden, now the personal chef's not doing it, and then all of a sudden, you know what?
I'm going to eat that personal chef.
I haven't tried it, but I feel like the cow steak is good, but you know what? I've had all the meat in the world, but you know what I haven't tried? Personal chef steak. And the next thing you know, you're killing him and you're grilling him, and the next thing you know, you try that steak, and oh god, it is according to Slanesh makes that into the most perfect thing that you've ever tasted. And
it is the quintessential heroin addict.
Yes.
You start off with a low dose. Oh man, it's really good. All of a sudden, now you get tolerance to that low dose. So you gotta go a little higher.
Think of it also as like shoplifters or people that have that
like kleptomania.
Yeah, that itch to do if they do something crime related, they get that adrenaline rush, that high off of it.
And you know what? Fucking something even less something even more like benign, runners.
Oh yeah.
You ever heard of a runner's high? Mm-hmm. Right? You fucking run. You're shit. I love this runner's high. Well, guess what? At some point, you're gonna get a giant fucking.
I'm gonna take this away. Can you do this?
I am putting my hands in my sleeve. Yes.
Hands in your pockets. Same thing with runners. You get that runner's high, and then you're oh man, this is great. You want to keep going, but guess what? At some point, that runner's high, it's gonna take you running more to get it. So you have to keep going.
Yeah, you sick fuck.
Yeah,
running.
Something as innocent as that.
At least we're not a bicyclist, right?
Fuck those guys. You don't own the fucking road, dude, bicyclist.
I saw a horde of them on my way here, right by the interstate on a ramp, and I just. I'm seeing the GTA like plus 10 points.
Oh shit! He's
2 stars, yeah.
all right. See, perfect example of Slanesh right there. He had that one thought. In his
Oh no,
mind,
that's
like,
all
man.
me. You're on a 1-lane
Are you
road.
sure
You're on
that's
a
you?
tiny 1-lane road, and there's one bicyclist
you-
ahead of like a 10-mile backup.
But are you sure that's you?
Oh, that's 100% me.
That could have been Slanesh.
Oh no,
saying,
I'm
this
worshiping
is
corn with this motherfucker.
you. Oh, you're undivided right now. That's what it is. Slanesh
guess
is
so,
like,
yeah.
no, hit them, and you'll get like 10 points each.
yeah,
It'll
do
feel
it.
so good. And Angron's like, bro, do it, fucking dude. That blood's gonna look good on your windshield.
No balls.
Bitch.
So
Do it for the vine.
So, Step Bro, for our viewers, we've now gone through all of the mono faction gods.
Oh, God.
We've gone.
Oh, by the
through-
way, Emperor's Children.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Emperor's Children. Yeah. So,
boys.
Slanesh worshippers, their legion in the Space Marines are the Emperor's Children. The champions of Slanesh are Fulgrim and partially Lucius, I would say.
Yeah, I'll say Lucius would be the main, like, second lieutenant.
Interesting. The only person on the list that isn't the Primarch's first captain.
That's true, yeah. So the other ones, I mean,
Yeah.
Karn was technically, I think he got promoted. Initially, he was the 8th captain, which is funny because Karn's number is 8. But then I think he got promoted first captain, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I can't. Well, no, I think he was still 8th captain, but he was the closest person to to the Primarch.
He got a non-official promotion to
yeah,
first.
he was the 8th captain, but he was also
He was the 8th captain, but like second in command.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Angron's emissary. He was the guy. He was the person, the one person that could actually calm down Angron.
Yep.
In both instances.
Yep.
But so Khorne has Angron and Karn. Tzeentch has Magnus and Ahriman, who are both really close and first captains. Nurgle has Mortarion and Typhus, who actually fucking hate each other.
Yes.
Yeah, weird.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Typhus is the one who initially
Typhus is
corrupted Mortarion.
Typhus is the reason that Mortarians fell to chaos.
And it's
so-
kind of a
enough.
dick.
And Typhus is kind of a fucking dude. Yeah. He
Yeah,
really is a
Typhon
douchebag.
is.
Yo,
a
fun
douchebag.
fact about Nurgle. Nurgle actually favors Typhus more than Mortarion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
could
did
see
know
that.
Yep.
But
could
so
see that.
with the Emperor's Children, Lucius wasn't a first captain.
Yep.
He wasn't an emissary.
Yep.
He was for a lot of the Horus Heresy so far, he has been the perfect example of the guy who was at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And if you're a D&D fan, he rolled nat 20s on all of his skill checks.
Yeah. I'll
Which
never
is
forgive
which
his
is
face.
funny because he left the Legion. He's like, "Fuck you guys, I'm done." Then after he killed Charmosian and all that and shit, and he's like, "You know what? Fuck this. I want back in the Legion. I don't want to do this shit anymore. I want to be like my fucking Primarch."
But once again, rolled that nat 20 on that
Oh, he did.
deception test and was like, I had infiltrated them and I knew all along that they were gonna betray and now you can come in and accept all the glory. Fuck you, you're dead.
Yeah. Now Eidolon's the only one who's like, "Bitch, shut up. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. You're full of shit." But
he's the
Eidolon's
guy,
also a
yeah.
cock, so yeah.
Yeah, Eidolon's someone else.
Lucius, you either love him or hate him, and I
Yeah.
absolutely love Lucius.
Hate him.
Yeah.
I know you hate him because
Hate him.
you're a fucking Sigismund cocksucker.
Hey, I'm just saying, whenever the guy shows up at the big boy table and says, "I'm the best swordsman," and then he gets clocked by like 3 separate champions, I'm sorry, I don't.
Bro, he got fucking punched in the fucking throat by goddamn Garviel Loken.
Yeah.
In the first fight.
Well,
so.
Garviel beat him.
Yeah.
I want to say Sevatar beat him.
I
I know for a fact Sigismund
Oh
beat
God,
him.
here goes everybody. I want to see. You know what? You know what's funny?
What?
I want to see someone beat him now. Oh, that's why. Because guess what?
They still beat him.
The second, it doesn't matter. 'Cause, do you really beat him if you turn into him?
That's Slanesh beating you for him. He literally has the giant big brother come in, knock KO you, and then pick him back up.
I mean, a win is a win.
Yeah, but is it your win?
Or is it- it's not your
It's
win.
different.
Hey, we're going into a. You
Okay.
know the dictator, with the comedy film, like the generic Middle Eastern dictator and stuff, and like he's
Oh yeah,
El Aladdin.
Yeah.
You ever seen like the Olympic part where like he's running the Olympic race and he hosts his own thing, then he shoots all the competitors when they get close?
Yeah.
It feels like that. Like you're like, oh, fisticuffs, yes. And the moment the opponent lands an actual punch, somebody walks forward with a gun and shoots him.
You can say what you want. Lucius has his nasty ass moments.
Okay, we'll have to agree to disagree on that one.
And
Kiki, fuck.
that was all 4 Chaos Gods. Now we'll give an honorable mention to the 5th minor god, Malice.
Oh, I thought we were gonna go with Vashtor.
He's
No.
going next.
Yeah, because Vashtor is on his way to working to be a god.
He's like a powerful warp entity / demigod.
Yeah, Malice.
For our viewers, this is not tabletop. This is just canon.
This is again, everything in 40K in the Warhammer universe is
very
canon, but not a lot of it is true. Malice is the unofficial god of chaos, like it's
True
like
chaos.
true chaos, anarchy, hatred, and directly fucking hates the other 4 gods.
Yep.
Like he is his own lone wolf. He's a one-man wolf pack type of thing, which is interesting enough because he doesn't care for any of their other shit. He just cares about like he is true chaos. Like he would rather see them fail just because he wants to see them fail. Like there's no rhyme or reason. He's not trying to be, a big god or anything in control of everything. No, he just anarchy, like straight anarchy. Fucking. So that's Malice.
The Pantheon is very much chaos in the terms of like anti-civilization,
Yeah.
because their behaviors and worship are not conducive to civilization. Malice is just fuck everything, pure anarchy.
The
everything
ultimate nihilist.
I would
guess
say
you could
I would say Malice is more like for Greek mythology, kind of like your Kronos figure. You're essentially. He was probably Malice is probably the oldest one because before everything, there's always chaos.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So, and this where it goes to where you were talking about the Imperial blockade around the Eye of Terror. Ha, said it right this time. Again, supposedly there were some Marines that fell to Malice from that, but we don't know what chapter. It just says in the lore it wasn't Primaris. It's
It was before Primaris, but it was a chapter around the Eye of Terror. I do not know. I'm not sure if it's known.
They weren't a specific chapter of any of the legions. They were just like I guess the reserves of Astartes. I guess you could say like they didn't belong to an actual legion. They were Astartes, I think, made after the original Astartes, but before Primaris. They were like that in between, if I'm not mistaken. And they fell to fucking Malice. But canonically speaking, that's a thing, but it's also not. That's one of those iceberg things. So
here's the rough like meta rundown on Malice, because unfortunately there's no other way of doing it.
Yeah.
Initially there was Malice, who's the 5th Chaos God. That being said, turns out there's already a fuck ton of organizations that trademark the word Malice or Malal and everything
Malal.
else. So, quite frankly, they couldn't do anything with them. Now, that being said, to our knowledge, again, everything is canon unless stated otherwise. And actually, the most recent mention, to my knowledge, was in the video game Battlefleet Gothic 2, where they actually, in one of the worlds, you can see Sons of Malice, which is the warband you were talking about.
Yeah.
And that's it. So he's there. But GW is probably not going to mention him again unless he gets a rebrand.
And this goes back to it's like one of the fucking original maybe White Dwarfs or something like that, where it was kind of like a comic section in there, and the GW hired. This is in the early days of GW when they weren't a corrupt corporation.
Yeah.
They hired 2 writers to write a piece of lore and shit for him, and they came up with Malice. But it seems like during that when they were doing the contracts, whatever, GW didn't stipulate that this would be a part of GW's IP, right? So the creators got to keep the creative copyright to them.
That would make sense.
And I guess maybe with their own intention of doing something with it later on, but that never happened. And since GW can't get the copyright to it, I guess, whatever, they're kind of just like, okay, well, these guys don't exist anymore.
Well, I will say they were the God Malice was a lot more prevalent in Warhammer Fantasy than in 40k.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah, so he actually had like a full-on sort of like Chaos War band and fantasy and stuff like that. Still kind of a side note, but yeah. So
for our new viewers, you know, we've gone through the 4. We've touched on Malice, you know, in case you decide that maybe you want to paint something like Malice and run it with different rules or whatever.
Make it one of the 2 missing legions.
You know, for our new guys that are like, you know, oh, these are cool. You know, I like this Chaos God. I like this Chaos God. You know, let's say, you know, they like multiples, but they don't necessarily want to run, you know, strictly Emperor's Children or strictly, you know, World Eaters or anything like that. There is an option for you to run multiples.
yes.
Or for you to run all 4 at the same time.
Ooh, are we talking about it?
Yes, we are talking about your last option. We're going to touch on this. We'll touch on this. This will be probably the last thing we kind of talk about.
believe so,
I
yeah.
figured we'd go ahead and kind of keep Vashtor within this because this is kind of where he's at right now.
And also, there's not a lot of lore development with Vashtor for the most
Right.
part.
Yeah, this is like what Dark
So
Mechanica.
for the new
Yeah, it's more
viewers
like
that you know, you like multiple gods or you like all 4, there is, like we said, the 5th option of Chaos Undivided,
Yes.
which is
which is the
fuck it, we ball.
independent party.
It's the everything else at the end of the last 4.
Yeah.
The Chaos Libertarians.
The Chaos Libertarians. That's exactly it.
So usually Chaos Undivided goes ahead and worships not necessarily one individual god, but the quote-unquote pantheon of all 4 gods as a whole. And that's what they do. Or perhaps they worship, and there's a whole bunch of different like logistical line of thinkings and semantics about what they worship. Maybe they worship the warp, or maybe they worship all 4 gods, like the Word Bearers. And even in the Word Bearers, you have a whole bunch of different sects. And it's like, oh, we worship all 4 gods, but in the fact of all 4 should be highly revered, and we're worshiping basically 4 gods. And then you have another sect that says, oh, well, we worship all 4 as one Chaos Undivided.
They're also the ones
yeah.
that refer to the Chaos Gods as the Pantheon.
Yep, very true.
So-
And you also got some other individuals who follow Chaos Undivided, and that's more of a case of they aren't really big on the particulars. They just like were by the Eye of Terror and they started growing talons and their jetpack kind of molded to their back and like, hey, fuck it, we ball. Hey, thanks whoever did that.
It's,
And
it's a
they-
means
It's
to
about
an
the
end.
power.
And there
Yeah.
are some that absolutely hate the situation they're in, but, you know, we'll make the best of it.
Exactly.
So we said Khorne is World Eaters, Nurgle is Death Guard, Slanesh is Emperor's Children, and Tzeentch is Thousand Sons.
Yep.
Who does that leave for Undivided?
So you have some options. Right now on the tabletop, there's 1 prevalent force. So I'll kind of touch on the you know, the other ones. We'll do obviously more more on them once we get into
we'll
like
mainly
Space
stick
Marine
to this
episodes.
main one and
Yeah.
none of the other ones.
But so just touching on them, you do have the Iron Warriors, the Night Lords, the Word Bearers,
And
Alpha Legion.
well,
Alpha,
It's Alpha Legion.
yeah.
Alpha
We're
Legion.
going
We don't know if they're traitor or loyal, so
Is
we'll
that-
just put a
is-
question mark.
Is that all of them?
You technically have the Sons of Horus, who are now the
No,
Black Legion. They're the Black Legion.
Did I forget any?
Okay. No, but no, we're shutting that down. 1 second. There was 5 total. Nope, no, you got everybody actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
I did get
Yeah.
everybody.
Hey,
So
here's the deal. Here's the deal. Listen up here, buddy. Okay. So
oh god, here
this
comes
is not
Here comes the
this is not
autism.
your fault. This is the autism. This is not.
Actually.
Actually. Well, this is a big deal also in understanding who Abaddon's character is.
Do you need
okay?
your century pad?
No, I am physically restraining myself right now. So
Tap on your leg.
Pull,
that
out,
being
pull out
said-
a cigarette.
Oh, he'll just start tapping the lighter.
As long as he.
okay, Bucko. So what we're saying is that basically after the Horus Heresy, all these legions and chapters, everything else came from the original legions in 30K. The big deal is after 30K, there was something called basically the Legion Wars by all the traitors who fled to the Eye of Terror to escape retribution by the Imperium after the Horus Heresy. That being said, during this time, a big oopsie daisy happened, and the last remaining remnant of the Sons of Horus was entirely wiped out, leaving only lone legionaries going other stuff. Whenever Abaddon came, basically woke up from his basically respite that he went off to, he declared the Black Legion, and the reason the color is black is so they remember the shame of what happened with the Sons of Horus and all the legions as a whole. And they are explicitly dictating themselves as we are not them.
The one legion that's gone through the most goddamn color changes.
Oh
Yeah,
God, color and name changes.
Yeah. So you know like why the Black Legion's always shown with the 8-pointed star in the Eye of Horus?
No.
Because the 8-pointed star is because they know they have to use chaos to beat the Imperium. The Black Legion is succinctly chaos is for the most part a tool, but that view changes to everything within the ranks. But the Eye of Horus is there only to remind the Black Legion of what they lost by just fucking up during the Horus Heresy. That's the entire reason until the Cicatrix Maledictum opened up, Abaddon would not even touch the title of War Master because he did not want to be associated at all with Horus. So no, Black Legion is not a continuation of Sons of Horus.
But that's so hypocritical because him and Little Horus are the reason that Horus did what he did.
Well, no, because
No.
Actually,
Erebus,
see, we're both pushing on the
not
glass.
Actually,
not entirely.
Erebus is the reason that he did everything.
I understand.
At
but
the start of it, Abaddon was just a yes man.
exactly
100%.
Exactly.
He was going to do whatever
and that's what I'm getting at was he had a chance. Him and Little Horus had a chance to stop all this shit from happening.
But Horus knew that, and that was the reason that he kept Garviel Loken.
Okay.
What he wanted 3 yes men, and he wanted one person to rein the yes men in, and rein Horus in to reason.
No.
Because Horus is always going to want people that tell him he's doing a good job to keep his confidence, but you always need at least one person to tell you, hey, maybe you're fucking up.
yeah, you need the 9th man. I
Now,
get it.
that being said, during the Horus Heresy and eventually Siege of Terra, you'll notice that Horus always kept one word bearer by his side as counsel. And initially that was Erebus. And after that it was Zardu Layak. Okay? And they were basically his spiritual counselors to Horus. Now in the beginning, nobody gave a fuck. Okay? Especially not Abaddon. But as it went on, Horus began to change. And everybody began to notice.
Yeah, and Abaddon kept following even after he noticed change.
Abaddon wanted to kill, and I several times was very, very close to killing Zardu Layak, specifically because, Erebus was dealt other ways we won't get into.
They're
several times.
They're so satisfying.
Yeah, fuck Erebus.
Every time.
But Horus specifically said, if you touch Zardu Layak, I will kill you. And coming from your dad, who your entire thing has been serving the last, 200 years, essentially, he said no. At that being time, the more the Siege of Terra went on, Abaddon started showing a lot more autonomy and just said, fuck this shit, I'm out. So that being said, yeah.
I get it, but there's also the way I look at it is there's no excuse for the hypocrisy if he's going to be in that.
There's so much hate for Abaddon, but I will say Abaddon's doing a lot better of a job than
of course.
Horus is
Oh
doing.
yes. There's no debating that one bit.
Yeah.
Horus fucked up by wanting to go straight to Terra and doing this shit, whereas Abaddon's like, no, we're gonna build up our shit first and then go there.
Yeah.
Interesting story. Abaddon is also the reason for what I said was we were going to touch on the subject. What we're talking about may particularly become the 5th Chaos God.
Vastor.
He has been working with working with very loosely. You don't really work with demons.
Here's the big thing about Vastor, which is actually interesting, and I love what they did with him, is because one of the key attributes of Vastor is that he's honest to a fault whenever he comes to dealing with stuff. And so far, now granted, new lore could come out and they could say, surprise, it's all a hoax. Actually, he's lying the entire time, and I hope they don't do that.
That's how they turned Abaddon from a piece of shit to a complete fucking G.
Yeah, pretty much.
By the way, all those failures, those weren't failures.
Yeah, it's just a retcon, baby.
Yeah.
But that being said, so he's actually, for the most part, entirely honest, because Vastor is all about basically the machine. He is very much basically the machinist chaos god, about mechanisms being put in place to a degree. It's almost like Tzeentch being the god of like change, deceit, and planning. But Vashtor, instead of having like deceitful planning and violent planning, Vashtor's like cog A goes into cog B, they spin, and that makes this device. That sort of planning. It's very mechanical in nature. So, to our knowledge, Vashtor is very much honest with Abaddon. He says, he literally showed up on the Vengeful Spirit in front of Abaddon and said, hey man, don't shoot me. Here's what I want. I know what you want. Let's work together. And then he's like, cool, but I don't trust you. And now they've accomplished so much. And yeah.
Well, like literally splitting the galaxy in two.
Well, Vashtor happened after that. But yeah. But they've now... I guess we can do this. It's not really a huge spoiler because it wasn't in like a book. It was actually in a little series they did. But they won. In the most recent, basically the most recent lore update we've had, Vashtor and Abaddon won, specifically against the Lion. Okay? Because they now have a machine that they can use to make webway portals,
No shit.
which is big as fuck.
Did they
Now-
put the lion back to sleep?
No, unfortunately not. No, he's still around.
Big if true.
Big if true.
Big if true.
But you know who else potentially is in the webway?
Besides the Eldar?
Well, potentially Jagatai Khan. But also
well, yeah,
maybe
that's
Russ.
Oh yeah, because Russ is
Yes.
potentially in the webway searching for the world tree.
Wait, I thought he
Yes.
was in the warp. I thought Russ was in the warp.
the web.
We don't know where he went. Oh, and sorry, no, he went off towards the Eye of Terror. So yeah, okay, no, you're actually correct on that.
Yeah, because I thought he went into the warp to look for the freaking the tree.
Yeah, he's looking for.
Supposedly
He's
the-
looking for Yggdrasil.
Yeah, he's looking for Yggdrasil, and he's probably walking.
The Viking themes were
past
strong enough.
He's probably passed Caldor Drago like a couple times, like, "Hey man, what's going on?" That kind of shit.
I can just imagine Russ and Baldor's bogus adventure.
Yeah. Now I know. Now I know. I know Jagatai was in the webway because he went chasing after fucking Dark Eldar and shit. Which they need to do something with that. Like,
I gotta be honest, I hope we see I would love for a Primarch to be, I guess you could say, contained, not by chaos. I would love to death if we got like a punished Jagatai Khan who's been tortured for 10,000 years, going
got nipple rings
going
and shit.
going maybe not nipple rings, but like he's gone from like honorable warrior to fucking Mad Max because he's been
Fair.
tortured. He's going crazy. I don't know.
like Angron levels of Mad Max.
Okay, not that level of like
Okay.
crazy stuff.
Not
but-
Eightfold Path.
Yeah,
but-
not Eightfold Path, but he's probably like, he's a bit loose, a bit cuckoo. Yeah.
just that. Yeah. Okay. But,
All right, well.
that seems we've covered everything, haven't we, man?
We
And
have covered just about all of chaos.
yeah. with several tangents thrown in because those are always fun. They always come up.
I love
That's
some
great.
tangents.
Yeah.
I love the tangents.
Yeah.
I am so excited when we get to go over every single faction for chaos
Oh,
individually.
yes,
God.
once we,
I am.
All right, so
all
be
tangents.
prepared for 20 more episodes at minimum.
Believe it or not, all in one day. That's how much we're going to talk about them.
So for the next time, I can't wait for the next episode.
Oh.
The next episode is a group
You want to?
specialty.
Yeah, you want to say what it is?
And it's going to be interesting because we're going to do what a lot of people don't do, and I'm so happy that we're going to do this because people tend to lack on. I mean, there's so much lore out there, but when it comes to like, at least from what I've heard from some podcasters and everything, or people that do this, they tend to go a little bit lackluster and on this, I guess group of faction. And what I'm talking about now is we haven't heard about the aliens or the Xenos.
Yes.
You're anybody that doesn't fit in being a human or being, changed into a fucking creepy demon.
This is also that EE outside of humanity that's everything else.
Yeah.
And it's a big category.
Yes. Everything from Terminator robots to giant mushroom fungal monsters to
Killer bugs and killer bugs with time guns.
To Starship Troopers,
Yep.
basically.
to an anime Gundam fucking fan's dream.
Oh God, yes, with vagina faces.
Do you like elves? Do you like elves? Do you like space? Boy, do we have a faction for you.
Do you
But,
like Lord of the Rings, but in space? We got you.
Congratulations. This is probably going to be the faction that you want.
Ultramar calls for aid.
But yeah,
Taliban
so tune in next time, guys, and we'll talk about the Xenos, and we
Yes.
will go pretty far in depth. I've done my research, and I feel like between all of our knowledge, it's going to be a really good episode.
I feel like I know these episodes have been like longer than our usual, like 1 hour. I feel like Xenos is gonna have to be like long because we got a lot to cover.
Well, we have a lot to cover with all the other factions except one.
Not one. Yeah.
Tyranids is going to be like a 5-minute thing because there's no lore.
I was talking about Votan. Votan's probably going
Oh
to
yeah,
be
no,
the
yeah,
shortest one.
Votan's the
okay.
one.
Votan will be congratulations. Here's the story: Space Dwarfs.
That's what I'm saying. They have more of a story than
Oh
Tyranids.
shit! I already fucking spoiled.
Oh.
I already spoiled the entirety of Votan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they have more of a lore than fucking Tyranids do. Like,
Well, granted, a lot of the Tyranid discussion will be a lot of like another iceberg type deal, but at the
Sure.
same time, there's actually a lot of really cool stuff that no one needs, and I guarantee you guys have probably not heard about it before.
well,
I will change Tyranids for you, I promise.
listen. I know about the emissaries. I know about.
We're at the top of the iceberg. Continue.
Yeah, but when it comes to Tyranids, it's not really much published like lore, is there?
No,
There's
there
really
is,
not.
yeah.
Oh yeah, there is.
Is
Not
there?
from their perspective, but yeah.
Oh, obviously not from their perspective.
how about this-
Although I would like to see their perspective. I'm pretty sure it's just somebody smashing a keyboard for 500 pages.
We technically, well, I shouldn't say we don't have the perspective. We technically do have their perspective.
Interesting.
Yes, it's from the devastation of Baal.
Ooh.
And that being said, I'll finish off with this
All
little
right.
tidbit.
Yeah, we'll leave.
What are the Tyranids building to combat chaos that's taking up an entire sector?
More Tyranids.
No, it's an actual construct.
Oh, Stompa.
Well, I don't know. It's the question. We don't know. This is a big
Oh,
part.
well,
We didn't say it was rhetorical.
We said Tyranids, not orcs.
Yeah, who
They're
knows?
building a stompa.
Who knows?
Organic Stompa.
All right, but that's all we got for you guys today. Tune in next week for
Xenos.
Xenos.
Zeno.
Zenos.
Yes.
Holy hell! I thought the okay. Never mind. Yep.
Yep.
For,
Yep.
for the Xenos.
Xenos. Yeah, baby.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Be easy.
Until
Freaking-
then,
Be easy, be sleazy.
be
Yeah.
easy, be sleazy.
Yep. Make sure Slanesh brings you some nice set of balls.
Get your chastity belt on.
See ya. Bye.
Hey there, guys. From all of us at the Surface Lodge podcast, thank you so much for listening to the end of the podcast. It truly does mean the world to us. If you don't mind, and if you enjoy this content, why don't you go on ahead and follow us on Spotify, as well as subscribe and hit the notification bell on YouTube. We greatly appreciate that. And in the meantime, we'll catch you guys in the next episode.